everybody, and welcome to the discussion around Napoleon Hill and the 17 laws of success. Masters of the key is true love. Love for yourself. Mastering the keys of the law of success is learning how to control your own mind. What I will be doing is I will really be focusing on the first 13. Napoleon Hill passed away some years ago, and I want to make sure that his name and his work stay alive. So this is I'll add in what I need to add, but most of it's going to be literally a reminder of his words, because I watched the video where he's speaking, and there wasn't a lot of cameras back then, so it's not an easy thing to find videos of Napoleon Hill. So the first one is finding your definite purpose. So it's the laws of success. Number one is finding your purpose. And your purpose isn't finding the money. Your purpose is finding the way of being, which brings you the money. So the quote that he gives is, "I ask for not more riches, but for more knowledge to enrich the riches God gave me at birth." So that's a very important way of thinking to shift when you're finding your purpose. So your purpose isn't the action, it's the way of being. And then you want to add, there's like a lot of layers in this, because you want to add in your curiosity and your discovery around things. And then you find your purpose, which is your way of being. And then by being curious in all the 12 and a half agreements or emotional ingredients, then you find your career, and then you live your purpose attached to your career, which always brings in the financial outcome of desired, if that's what you're looking for. Number two is you're finding your mastermind alliance. It's basically surrounding yourself with like-minded people. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people. You want to find a mentor that you want to emulate. You want to learn. It's basically like the law of attraction, but you want to recognize that each person vibrates at a frequency. And if you're meeting people along the way that are really like not good people, then you're vibrating at a weird frequency. So that means you need to do self-awareness work. It's a labor of love. So there's 6 forms of riches. There's the materialistic stuff, that's the options of your choice. There's the being positive, there's the labor of love, there's health, there's peace of mind, there's freedom from fear and worry. All ways of being. There's always penalties when you lack self-awareness, which include poverty, frustration, discouragement, evil, superstition, fear, and you don't heal. So there's the 4 ways of that draw that in, 3 ways, which is greed, superstition, and hatred. So those are how you attract your mastermind group if you want evil, poverty, indecision, healing. But you want to train your brain to redirect your mind into being the powerful creator that you are. It's the saying of you create your own reality. So that's number 2. You can have you create the mastermind community, right? So you always want to be the forever student. And when you become the forever student, it gives you a natural sense of protection from failure. Because you become in that space of like you never arrive. Okay? Like I'm always searching and learning, which is the lifelong student. You want to borrow and utilize the capital of other people. Now, what that means is a lot of people will look at that as like, ooh, networking. Who's going to get me this and get me that? No, you're going to use the knowledge and the generous gifting of the knowledge that someone else gives you. And then when you have good intentions, then you will attract the person that's going to be your mentor that you'll be able to emulate, but you'll also be able to open the doors that are meant for you. So there's a lot of positivity attached to this word of borrow and use the capital of other people. There's a lot of evil stuff going on out there right now, and you want to really pay attention to this. So what we're really trying to do is we're trying to create laws of success by training your brain to think in terms of intention, think in terms of joy and happiness, and then become successful in yourself, and then create your livelihood in association. Because if you work 40 hours a week, that's a big chunk of your life that's miserable. But not only how you are at work is how you are at home. So number 3 is applied faith. You want to utilize faith as guidance. And it's basically like changing your ways of thinking. It's like that the opposite would be like giving up, right? Success must be planned and it must be earned. So for the people that had the handout, those are the ones that you need to watch out for. Those are the ones you need to watch out for. Hey, did you go viral overnight? No, thank you. I did go viral overnight. However, I worked for this for 5 years. Here's my resume. This is all that I've done. First step. Second step, you pay attention to the words that are coming out of their mouth. You pay attention to how you feel when you're standing next to them. Applied faith, I was digressing. Applied faith is just staying on the path. Failure, lesson, have faith. Failure, lesson, have faith. Lesson, 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 lesson. And it becomes a practice in your way of being around what you would call failure, because the only person that can tell you you're a failure is yourself. Now that's the monkey mind game that the others like to play with you. So you're a being here, but you got all these other beings that are surrounded you in real life, but also in spiritual life. And they're always telling you what piece of crap you are. They do that so you'll fail. You're a failure, but that's not true. So you have to acknowledge and catching it in self-awareness and then shifting it. You want to shift it because you have tools in your tool belt, and you know it's like an experience of knowing what faith is. Like really embodying what faith means. And even if as I say embody and you don't know what that means, continuously practicing embodying it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Number 4. Oh, this is it too. I forgot about this one for faith. You know, God will never give you something that you cannot handle. You must be ready for the thing that you ask for. And if it's a huge, huge task at hand, others must be ready also. The only difference between a successful person versus a failure person is the capacity for the belief. Do you believe in yourself? Do you have faith? The habit of going the extra mile. The habit of going the extra mile is a pretty simple concept, right? You want to promote yourself. Good morning. I'm going the extra mile. I'm going to go say hi to him. I'm going to say hi to him. Take me 2 seconds. Positive attitude. But you really have one, right? Everything like, this morning you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but instead of like taking a look at all the bad stuff that's going on in the world, you try to see the little stuff. Oh, thank you so much for opening the door for me. Thank you so much. I feel so good about that. I love that color. That looks so good. Uplifting, right? Maybe you even take a moment to help someone else by saying, I like that outfit, but you authentically actually like the outfit. The natural law of increasing return. Meaning what you put out is what you receive. So in the natural laws of science, the more good you do for others, the more likely good things will come back to you. I feel like it's landing in you, right? Like a lot of people say, stay positive, well, how the heck do you stay positive? Don't forget to keep the like-minded people around you. If you're one person in a room of 800 and you're the only one that has a good attitude, you better believe it's going to be 800 times harder for you to stay positive. Let's see. Excel in your work. If you're not good at something, ask for assistance. Find that person that is your best teacher. Do your best at what you're good at. If it's not working, then you need to readjust. So we're looking for assistance. We are doing our best. We are in the mastermind groups, right? So you want to surround yourself. And that doesn't necessarily even mean like positive. It's like a little bit of a challenge too, right? So you could look at these a couple different ways. You could do like-minded groups who are in the same communities, right? Like you're in I don't know what group it is. Let's just go with like Gary's group. So you could be in Sasha's group, mastermind group, or you could be in where your personality similarities, right? So you could be like career field similarities. You could be personality similarities. You could do females. You could do men. So you see how your mastermind group could be a little mixed, which then creates a challenge, which means you're always learning, you're always growing. It'll be quite interesting. Key alert imagination. That's a little bit of the judgment factor. First of all, are you willing to utilize what God gave you, which is your imagination? Blues and pinks and greens and yellows, imagination. Stepping outside of the norm of what everyone else is doing as a trend becomes the part where you don't care what other people think. That's the hard part. As much as you say to your faces that you don't care, you care. Because it's a learning phase, an awareness game, and you're learning self-awareness at this time. Influence to integrity. That is a little like lead by example, have high integrity for yourself, and then you influence everyone around you to have integrity as well. So this one here is a big one. It's an influence to integrity. The law of contrast. What's the law of contrast? I forget. I think it's like stepping out of your comfort zone. So it's like, like let's just visualize a contrast bar of shades. Now I'm going to stay in this contrast. And then his may be a little bit different, but I kind of forget what he said. I didn't write it down, but it doesn't matter. There's always additive perspectives that we can utilize to advance the conversation. But it's like stepping into contrast a little further that way or a little further that way. The grand payoff. There's a couple of things that I have to say on payoff. So payoff can look like, it can be a bad thing too, right? They call it the payoff. So you act a certain way because you receive a payoff. So I'm moving into another version of my lessons from an organization that I belong to where we talked about the payoff of acting. So when it comes to your nasty attitude, you get a result. You get a result by being angry. You get a result by acting a certain way, which brings us the response that you want to win. However, that keeps you in the negative perspective of life, which is not the law of success. That's a failure. So the grand payoff becomes perceiving yourself in a positive way to get what you desire, to raise up everyone. Does that make sense? And that's a little misconstrued too, but I like that. I like that. A pleasing mental attitude. That's your grand payoff. See how they're all kind of intertwined with each other? Pleasing mental attitude. You can be like that, but you got to be funny attached to it. I can't really do it right now. But you know what I'm saying. It's always that person that says something nasty and negative about everything. You don't want to be around them. They bring the whole entire room down. The pleasing mental attitude uplifts themselves as a general way of acting and being that generally doesn't get affected when someone else is negative. But that's your practice, because anything with this laws of success is that it's a practice. This is a lesson. You were given the positivity experience when you were born, and then other people affected you to take it away from you. So that's an example of someone stealing your power. Okay, that's what it looks like for someone to steal your power. And then the opposite would be, or not the opposite, but the action of it is empower yourself. What voices are you going to listen to? The ones that tell you you're a piece of crap, which is that one over there, and that one over there, and that one over there, and that one over there. But that's the telepathic battle. That's the battle of overpowering them to tell them that you're worth something. Some people you're going to naturally be in a mastermind group with where they want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed, because when you succeed, I succeed, and we all get to succeed together. There's a lot of anti-operation in that mode at this time. So it's finding the right mastermind. Pleasing mental attitude. Do a favor for someone else. You need help with that? I'll help you. I'll do you a favor. What you need? Oh, that's easy. I can do that. Inspire. Well, what she's doing over there ain't right. I'm going to go say something. Hey, Susie, I wanted to tell you that I really thought that what you said was inappropriate. And it's really not effective in conversation for you to be gossiping about Jonathan and Greg. I appreciate you there's two ways that can go. I appreciate you for bringing that to my attention. It's something that I didn't realize. But we all know it's not going to go like that, because that's not the day and age that we're in at this time. You don't work with adults. Well, the way the world works at this time, you work with a bunch of children. So what's going to happen is they're going to turn into a psychopath. What? And they're going to gossip around the whole office. That's how you stir stuff up. But you literally walk over there with just an honest feedback for somebody, for the group, kindly, nicely, and as an observation. You can even practice the tone. You might be a little afraid, but it sets the tone for the office. And in an ideal world, you would want to have a conversation like I had in the beginning. However, that might not be how it goes, but that's why when you take it to your supervisor. But you want to take a look at taking initiative, which we'll go into as one of the examples, as being part of a community. Because gossip in a community of hardworking individuals who are out to create for the world creates toxicity in the world, and that ain't cool. Let's see. you have to have a definite purpose. You have to know what your purpose is. So that's a really good place to start if you're going to inspire, is knowing that your purpose is, let's see, what's my purpose? Oh, my purpose is true love. So in every aspect of my life, and it can change, your purpose can change mildly. And you can even, I even think you can change it into your career. Like a version of like the marketing MLM thing. It's like true love at the top, because there's in the Course in Miracles book, God says there's only two ways. There's fear and there's love. So hatred and all those other words are all underneath fear. And then love is all representative of the purpose. And then you could put happiness, joy, honesty, all those things. They go down the love column. So that remember, we're going the extra mile. That's where we're at with this conversation. Conditions the mastermind. Go lay down. Conditions the mastermind. Going the extra mile conditions the mastermind. So you actually go into training in your mastermind group where you practice going the extra mile with people who actually are up to the same thing you're up to. Because it's practice. Just like a yoga practice, it's practice. I'm really getting mad at you now. Stop it. Let's see. Number 5 is the pleasing personality. Attraction and the showman. So if you have all kinds of really great information and you're just so blah, nobody's going to want to talk to you. You know, it's kind of like the know-it-all. So there's a little of that in that. You want to have the mental attitude is the telepathy, okay? So anytime you enter a space, your energy speaks for itself. You don't have to say anything. Trying to uplift the energy. What's wrong? Nothing. Flexibility. Okay, we're pleasing personality. You want to be flexible. So that means you got to be open to change, which is always happening. And you need to be open to other people's ideas also. Because you're in one perspective and then you've got 799 other perspectives sitting over there who have new perspectives, and they're different ages and different cultures, and they may actually accentuate your ideas as well. And remember, we're here with our definite purpose. We have our habit of going the extra mile, and we have a pleasing mental attitude. Instead of causing uproar all the time, it's, let me think about that. You want to be sincere in your purpose. You will always see warning signs, no matter what someone says to you. You will always feel it. You will always know it, because you're working the muscles of your definite personal purpose. It's your awakening moment. It's embodying the language to become experiences for yourself. They call it turning yourself inside out. Let's see. You want to be able to control your enthusiasm. Meaning if you are, you can want to turn it up and you want to turn it down, which becomes the humility conversation. You don't want to blast someone out with your excitement when we're in a yoga class because your team won a game or something. Right? You want to learn how to turn that up and turn it down and read the room. Here's some things that are not pleasing personalities: negative habits, too much talking, sarcasm, vanity, indifference to listening, need to be flattered often. They blame other people. They give unsolicited advice, and they're challenging for no reason just because they want attention. Anyone know anybody like that? The opposite is someone who speaks about problems. Oh, wait. This is another one too for the negatives. Speaking about problems too often. All they do is talk about complain. They only complain. They are superior to everyone else. They have envy of others, and they want envy for themselves and the way they posture themselves. If they walk like this, sit like this, it tells a lot about somebody. The good ones are know what you want, express gratitude, open your intuition with your hunches, keep trying, burning desires, believe and act, doubt, but he believes. So you know when doubt shows up, but you switch the button to you believe. So that's how you create a positive attitude, y'all. It's actually quite simple, but there's a lot of words coming at you, I think. A lot of words coming at you, but you want to know that it's quite simple, yes? It really gives you a foundational piece of when your head goes to the wrong place, what you need to look at. There's 3 things that hold you back from your successes, and you don't have any money, you feel like you don't have the right education, and then fear. Doubt comes in, and then you create belief. Doubt closes off, belief opens up. Open to possibility. Positive mental attitude. Number 6, self-discipline. I wonder my sealed envelope. There's a sealed envelope conversation that I'll find here in a minute. You got 2 envelopes when you came on this planet. It's in here somewhere, but I'll go into it in just a minute. Self-discipline is number 6. It's master. Self-discipline is, yes, it's the going to the gym 6 days a week. It's the practice, but it's also mastering the think, then speak. You can master it in an instant, right? Where you're having a conversation with a psychopath. And instead of jumping out of your seat and acting like a crazy person, or what would occur as a crazy person, however, rightfully so, that's giving someone else your power. Although sometimes it's necessary, especially when you're in battle zone. So it's knowing the difference of when it's available and when you need to seal the envelope. Sometimes it's just not saying anything, because that's the strategy for the future of the battle. Let's see. The strike back. Instead of striking back at someone, which also can be the strike back can be somebody else stealing your power away. It's more so, it got really heightened in the last couple of years with energy, which is why it's like what you witnessed in me as I moved through my life was physical attacks. Physical. Which is why you see me act like that. However, in the past, I have always been the type of person to be able to not strike back. So the strike back is an energy push out. It's like being, what do you call it? Like this. And then you imagine bullets coming out of your hands. But you're not doing this. You're just sitting here. Because you learn to mold the energy, because that's what they're doing. They have been able somehow to mold the energy. However, they don't actually know how to do it. They're just evil, and they try to put a cap upon you. They try to cap you off with your happiness, your joy, and your empowerment. That you, even an inkling of empowerment, they will bash you to the ground. So nonverbal strike back with going home and then writing it out. You say whatever you need to say. Blah, 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 blah. Emotions. The 4 ways that that they know in battle, especially in the industries, in the business and celebrity, is your 4 fears, or your 4 emotions that will take you out, which is your love. So example is being in love with someone is your first place to go. SEX. They will capitalize off what they know is your fear game. And then hate. However, they can get you to learn how to hate, because when someone is hate and fear as an embodied version of themselves, they become less desirable for other people. And there's a deep energy exchange in the seduction of what's going on in the world at this time that creates massive uncomfort and unrest. It's not even like specific to one relationship, but they're enjoying it. They don't even, they're not good at it, except for they enjoy the game of the seduction attached to the action. Now, you want to remember that when you have intercourse with someone, what are you doing? You're creating connection and you're making a child. So that's how evil people are at this time. Now, they've always been, like, this was created, I think, in the 60s. I don't know exactly what date. But it went on back then. However, it's exploded at this time in the sense of the amount of innocence it's destroyed. Meaning from teens to good people to married couples, this is their seduction. They enjoy reaping havoc across the globe. Now, what are you going to do with it? You're going to mental attitude to positivity. You're going to learn to trust your partner, which is the hard one, because that's another side of them creating the fear game through telepathy. I've spoken about this before. I've spoken to y'all about this before, where you're in a group of 4 and there's a woman, your husband, another man, and even her boyfriend, let's just say. And everybody's talking, and this one over here is the siren. She knows you're married to him. She knows he's married. However, she will dominate it through the giggles, through the voice and the tone, through the energy exchange. You may even feel a vibration in your private part. And that's the energy battle of exchange that needs to occur as a practice of self-discipline. Now, on the flip side of that self-discipline, you can't fall into the trap of it either. You can't fall into the trap of it, because it can occur as such a nice person, and then you get seduced into it. However, you know it ain't right. So it's like core action. I don't know, I feel like I could go on a lot for with this emotions. But everything I'm speaking of in this conversation is all about energy, manipulation of the energy, and shifting the negative mind into the positive mind. Remembering this is only working for those who have a sane mind. The evil mind will attempt to utilize this against you. That's why it's a personal growth experience. Very aware of what's going on outside of you as a watching game, an observation. See, a lot of these empath and anxiety-driven people like to permeate themselves energetically into your space and suck the life out of you. And then get all excited because they're empaths. Let's see. It's important to have an idea around your health. So you must have education around taking care of your health. So if you're not feeling well, you're already in a space that someone can come at you. So if you, on those days, if you're working, you should really stay home. Not only are you saving your other coworkers from getting sick, but you're also saving yourself from attacks. You should always have the will. You want to have the will to take over your own mind. Someone suggests something to you as an observation. You evaluate, you consider the source, and then you decide. You know, once you get a little more trustworthy, it's not so defensive, right? Because right now we're in a battle zone. And then religion and politics. Definitely want to have a say in your politics. I'll just leave it at that. I want to talk about politics. And then religion, you should always have a spiritual practice. I'll just say that. You don't want to talk about it mostly either, because it's really a pain in the butt conversation. Let's see. You want to bring hate to sympathy. We've changed the topic of sympathy to empathy. However, people don't really realize what empathy is. It's putting yourself in someone else's shoes. But when someone's an evil ass, you want to look at them and feel sorry for them, but not too sorry. So you need to find the balance between and then I feel sorry for them. Ew. You see the difference? Other than oogling all over them where they steal your energy. And you want to very much have power over your own thoughts. The path of least resistance does what? It makes crooks. Positive mental attitude. I'm going to stop this and start a new video. So this is part 1 of my discussion on more work on Napoleon Hill's Law of Success. 17 ways to the laws of success.